Hi everyone, Kimber here from Moksha Yoga and Wellness. Really excited to lead you through this short little flow, so let's get started. We'll begin in a comfortable seat, so making sure you can ground down through your sit bones, maybe elevating your hips above your knees if you need to. Take a moment to elongate the spine, rooting down through the sit bones while reaching through the crown of the head, create space. Maybe gently close the eyes. Giving yourself a moment just to arrive here, to fully show up. Maybe taking a few deep breaths, feeling into the body, noticing how it shows up to the mat today. We'll start to link some gentle movement with our breath through a seated cat-cow. So hands come to the knees. As you inhale, shining the heart forward, lifting the chin. Exhale, rounding into the spine, looking down at the navel. Inhale, chest forward, lift the chin. Exhale, rounding into the back. Trying to get your pelvis involved here as well. So we're really articulating the entire spine in this movement, getting everything nice and warmed up. And you can stay here with this basic movement, or maybe get the arms involved. As you cow spine, come to cactus arms. As you cat spine, elbows come to close in front of you. Just adding a little more emphasis to the upper back. Just getting that spine moving is so important for the longevity of our backs, of our spines. Let's do 2 more rounds here. And then release the arms, come to a neutral spine. If your legs are crossed, keep them crossed. We're going to gently hinge at the hips and fold forward out over those crossed legs for just a couple of breaths. Just to start to bring some energy and intention to the hips as well, so that they can be a little bit warm as we move on into our practice, into some poses that may ask them to work or lengthen a little bit. One more breath here. And then use your hands to press you back up to a seated position. Switch the crossing of your legs. And then fold forward once again. Noticing where the sensations of the pose are centered now. Maybe it's the opposite hip. Remembering your breath. Always returning to that long, slow, peaceful breath. Keeping our bodies and our parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest. Last breath here. And as you're ready, use your hands to walk you back up to seated. We'll flip over into a tabletop position just for a moment, but then tuck the toes, maybe walk the hands forward about a hand length, lift the hips to find your down dog. First down dog of class, there can be a generous bend in the knees. What's much more important here is that you have a long, straight spine than your heels reaching towards the floor. And then from here, we're going to get into the hips even in down dog. So bend one knee, bring it towards the center line, almost crossing over your body. Maybe you'll experience something in the outside of the opposite hip. Then switch. So the other knee bends, comes down and across. Noticing what sensations that produces in your other hip. You can take a few breaths just moving back and forth here. Or maybe you find one spot that says, hey, I need a little love. And you hang out there for a few minutes. Take a couple more breaths this way. And then let your next inhale lift your left leg up and back behind you. Bend the knee, open and stack the hips on top of one another. You can even make some circles on the wall behind you with that knee. Then bring that left foot forward to the space between the hands. The right toes turn out so they're parallel to the long side of your mat. Then your left hand is going to come to the left shin. Start to straighten the legs, stack the upper body on top of that bottom leg. Right arm comes up and open. We've created triangle pose from the bottom up. So instead of hanging in our joints, we've stacked it from the mat up, finding our grounding and support first before opening. Reconnect to that breath. And then we're going to turn your left toes to face the long side of the mat. We're going to hinge forward into a straddle forward fold. Just waking up the back of the legs, the back body a little bit. Couple more breaths here. You can also bend into one leg then the other, similarly to how we did in our down dog at the beginning of class. And then take your right toes, turn them towards the short side of your mat. Rotate your upper body so your hands are framing that front foot. Then the right hand will come to the right shin. Stack open, find your triangle on this side. Last breath, feel nice and strong. Rotate your body, frame that front foot. Take a step forward with the back foot so you're in a forward fold. Take just a breath or two here. Inhale, come all the way to stand. Arms come out and up with you. Exhale down through heart center. If you're not already at the top of your mat, come back to the top of your mat. Inhale, arms out and up again. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Long spine, reach to the crown of the head. Might even have to tuck the chin a little. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step back to plank. Press them out away so you inflate the area between the shoulder blades. Take an inhale. Exhale, knees come down. Lower the upper body. Hands stay underneath the shoulders. Inhale for a little baby cobra. Stay in cobra for this one, not necessarily up dog. Exhale, lower back down all the way to the mat. Inhale, same thing, heart shines forward. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, heart comes up for cobra. Exhale, lower it all back down to the mat. Take an inhale, just resting here on your belly. Press into the hands. Come back into down dog on your next exhale. Walk the feet forward to meet the hands. Inhale, press into the feet, root to rise. Arms come out and up as you stand. Exhale, hands through your heart center. Come to face the long side of your mat. Feet come nice and wide, wider than hip distance. Toes turn slightly out. Hands come to hips or to prayer. Bending into the knees for goddess pose. Feel how stable and secure you feel here. Find your strength. Hands in whatever position feels comfortable. Even a nice little rocking side to side. Just makes me feel pretty good to start the day. Feel like I can do anything. Couple more breaths here. Remember your strength. Press in the feet, straighten the legs to stand. Heel toe the feet so they're just a little bit wider than hip distance now. Toes still slightly out. Same idea, but we're going all the way down into a yogi squat malasana. So bending the knees, bring the hips down as far as they can go. And then elbows maybe come to the inside of the knees. By pressing the hands together, you're pressing the elbows into the knees, making space in the hips. If you need some prop support here, you can always take a block or a bolster underneath your sit bones or underneath your heels if your heels are really far in the air still. Just be gentle with yourself. In poses like this, gravity is helping us quite a bit, so they can be a little bit intense. Find your breath. One more breath here. Then press those feet into the mat, root to rise, stand all the way up. We're gonna do a little bit of a balance pose here, so let's set ourselves up for success. Let's start on the right foot, balancing on the heel, lift and spread the toes. Press the toes into the mat, then the ball of the foot, then the heel. So you're distributing your weight evenly across all three parts of your foot. Imagine you're plugging yourself into an outlet, like you're the end of your vacuum cleaner cord and the mat is your outlet, so you're evenly plugged in and supported. Then bend that left foot. Maybe consider reaching back with your left hand for a thigh stretch. If this arm needs to be out here balancing, that's okay. Also use your eyes to help you balance. Pick a drishti, an unmoving point of sight in front of you you can focus on that will help keep you balanced. And don't pick a drishti on the ground, because what happens is then you look down and then all of a sudden you're here. Pick something that's at least even with your eyes or higher. Release that left foot, shake it out. Same thing other side. Let's start with our base of support. We're gonna build the pose from the mat up. So lift the toes, spread them, plug the toes into the mat, then the ball of the foot, then the heel. So you're evenly distributing your weight. Your foot is engaged and active, plugged into that socket. Then when you're ready, lift the right foot, maybe reaching back, finding a nice opening for the front of the right hip, right thigh. Find that drishti, that pointed focus. Last breath here. Release that right foot down to the mat. Shake it out. You're doing great. Come to the front of your mat. Last vinyasa. Inhale, arms come out and up. Exhale, flat back, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Inhale and plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, come to the ground. Inhale, up for cobra. Exhale, just come to rest on your belly for a moment. From here, extend your left arm out even with your shoulder. Right hand comes underneath the right shoulder. Press into the right shoulder to open your upper body up. Maybe kickstand behind you with that right leg. We're looking for opening in the front of the shoulder, the pec muscle and the chest. So experiment with this left hand placement. Maybe it's a little higher, maybe the arm is bent. Your body will let you know, oh yeah, that's where I need to be. Reconnecting to that peaceful breathing. Last breath here. Rolling back onto the belly. To switch to the other side, right arm comes out even with the right shoulder, left hand underneath the left shoulder. Press into the left hand to peel your body off the mat. Maybe kickstanding with that left leg behind you. Same thing here, experimenting with the position of that right arm. It's okay if it's different than the left side. Wherever you are, use your breath to find that peace in the pose, to keep your attention on the mat, not wandering, not falling into judgment. Last breath here. Slowly unwind, coming back onto your belly. We'll roll over onto our backs. I don't have a pretty yoga transition for that, other than calling it the floppy fish. Cross the left foot over the right knee for figure four, maybe reaching behind the right thigh to pull that ankle closer to you. Gentle little hip opener here as we near the end of class. And once again, reconnecting to that long, slow, peaceful breathing. So that even if our body interprets this pose as stressful, and wants to release cortisol, the stress hormone, wants to increase your blood pressure, increase your heart rate. We're overriding that response by focusing on the breath. When we keep the breath long and slow, peaceful and easeful, we're telling our body, hey, it's okay. I actually want to stay in parasympathetic nervous response, that rest and digest. That's going to allow your body to release those muscle fibers more easily, maybe even a little more quickly. Also, you're just training your nervous system and your mind in a stressful situation. You can still have the more evolved part of your brain be in control instead of that just fight or flight response. Release that left foot. Switch sides by crossing the right ankle over the left knee, maybe reaching behind the left thigh. Remembering your breath. If your attention wanders, can you bring it back to the mat, to what you're experiencing right now in your body? Can we also use our yoga as a tool to train our attention? Release that right foot, knees in line with the hips, still bent, feet flat on the mat. Press into the feet, lift the hips for a bridge pose. Keeping the knees in line, squeezing the butt. Still breathing. Relaxing the back to the mat, pulling the knees into the chest, gently rocking side to side. And letting both knees fall to the right. Arms come out in a T, shoulders are heavy, both shoulders in contact with the mat. Maybe looking over your left shoulder if that's comfortable on your neck. Letting the knees come back to center. Arms can stay outstretched, shoulders still heavy. Just let the knees fall over to the other side. Maybe your gaze is over the right shoulder this time. Bring the knees back to center. Take any other movements your body feels like it needs to be complete. And then stretch the legs out long on the mat. Hands come down by the hips, palms face up. Relax into Shavasana for just a few minutes. Relaxing the tiny space between the eyebrows, the muscles around the eyes, relaxing the jaw, the mouth, letting the shoulders be so heavy they melt into the mat. Relax any control of the breath, any mindfulness of your thoughts. Turn off any effort and just be. Starting to come back into this space, wiggling the fingers and toes, rolling the wrists and ankles, bringing life back into your body, taking your time to gently press up back to a comfortable seated position. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope this practice brought you peace. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you soon.